you know what though? I remember I was like, no, I have to take off my shoes for this.
Oh yeah! Take your shoes off.
Okay.
This is a shoes off zone. Well, for me it is. Well, I'm sure for those who hated looking at my feet the first 3 episodes, this is a refreshing change of pace. I have some Vincent Van Gogh Starry Night socks.
I prefer no shoes a lot of the time.
Me too. But I have sensitive feet though. Like there are some people. Yeah, like I went to Hawaii. I went on a hiking trip in Maui, and this bitch was hiking barefoot the entire time. She had like gorilla feet,
like a hobbit,
like all calloused.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like sometimes when I walk on like rough sidewalk, it's like ow, ouch.
I did. I walked barefoot a lot as a kid. In the desert too, so there were like a lot of rocks. Everything outside in the desert is pretty rough. And I feel like at my grandma's house back in the day, we used to walk barefoot all the time, like hot concrete and stuff. Now, and maybe it's do you get pedicures every now and then? No. I do every now and then when I can afford it. Like when I'm like, I can do this. But my feet are very. Can't do it. Can't walk outside.
Yeah.
Even
do you
in
have
like
an
super
arch?
cold.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
Do you have an arch in your feet? Because I have a pretty deep arch.
What do you think? Is that archy enough?
Archy bunka. That was really stupid.
Gotta have an arch.
I think because I count the arch from here, right? Isn't this is what you consider the arch? So
if I point my toe, I guess you could see a little bit more.
So I feel like walking for long periods of time for arched feet walker, put a strain. I don't know.
It's true. I mean, even like the pads of my feet though are not as strong or as hard or calloused, I guess, as when I was a kid. So I don't know. But I prefer bare feet inside.
Oh yeah.
All the time. Like that's like, what is cool about the Midwest, because every place is carpeted. So I feel like a lot of people in the Midwest go barefoot or take off shoes like at the door.
I know a bunch of Asians do. I mean, my family does.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
I'm like, this is a custom I could really, get down with. Screw it. Some people are really self-conscious about their feet, and I'm just like,
that's true.
Some people are grossed out by feet.
I mean, let's face it, I have bunions. All right, there, I said it. You can see it. It's right there. Well, not today. But, I mean, I don't even wear heels, and my mom said that her mom had them, my mom had them, and my dad has them, too. So I guess it's just, like, in my genes.
Yeah.
But I guess they
walk hard. You walk real hard.
Like a gazelle. Clomp, clomp.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. They're ugly. Sorry for those who hate feet and have been looking at my bare feet.
I know. Now I'm like, before I came here, I was like, oh man, one of my toes like is missing the nail polish on it. Like I kind of chipped it off. I was like, should I paint that?
Which toe though? If it's the baby one, that's forgiving. We shall let the youngest.
It's the middle one.
Pass.
Like if I could flip off with my foot, it would be that middle one. I love how we're just diving into feet.
Which brings us to our guest. Wonderful segue.
I know. I love it. You can do it with anything. Really. I know. And be like, I don't know.
Well, we might as well, because I tend to like just ramble on and on with my guests, and then I forget, they don't know who you are yet. So today we have fellow female photographer, artist,
weirdo. Yeah.
Feet aficionado.
There you go. Ooh. Getting real fancy.
Nikki Acosta.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should say your last name.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either.
Do you have a warrant out for your arrest?
Dang it. It's out there now. out. No. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Good old Nikki. Yeah.
How long have you been shooting?
I
feel very NPR-ish.
Soft voices, so I've been shooting for about 5 years now. I would say professionally. Longer than that. You know, I started kind of shooting in high school a little bit. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, nobody was just messing around with a really crappy camera and also just shooting just to shoot. But then after I graduated, I wanted to get into an artistic field, but I also wanted it to be my job. I've never been the kind of person that's like, oh yeah, I could totally do a desk job for the rest of my life, or I could totally see myself getting into the corporate world. I never was like that. So it's always been arts for me. And yeah, photography was just one that stood out that I felt like I could make a decent living out of and still get to be creative and work with people, really.
Yeah.
I've done customer service jobs and things like that in the past, which is very people oriented, but it's not necessarily like the best form of, being in a job that's people oriented. I feel like it kind of made me not like people as much.
Same. Yeah.
Like after a while I was just like, dude, I don't like this. Like, people suck. I hate this. I don't want to talk to anybody after work. Like, I would just go home. And then that would make me bummed out because I'm like, I'm the kind of person who really feeds off of people.
Yeah.
And I like to do this and hang out. Like, what we did, earlier today, we just hung out on your back porch. Beautiful weather. Gorgeous. And it's funny because you were like, I have cards, but we didn't even touch those cards. Like, we just hung out and shot the shit and just, and that's what I love. I love to get to know people. And I feel like with photography, and I'm sure you feel the same way, you get to express yourself through those people and express a little bit of them at the same time because you're learning about them as you're shooting with them and working with them. So
absolutely,
it's a great job.
Yeah,
I love it. I do, but it's also like any job. It's a love-hate relationship. You have things that come up that are like, oh my God, I hate it. I hate it. Have you ever like hated your camera before where you're just like, ugh?
Yeah, my camera's from like 1922. Like, oh man. Yeah.
I mean, but you work with what you've got, and because you love it, you keep doing it, and you get creative.
Oh yeah,
I
think you get a lot more resourceful and clever with because you're broke and you just gotta make shit work.
Easy to just be like, oh yeah, let me put on back order this big, 50-foot backdrop or this and that. You have to make a room look bigger. You have to be like, this is what I want, but how do I get to that with $20?
Yeah, right.
And
sometimes you can have like the most elaborate, picturesque backdrop, but if you didn't capture the perfect image that the model is emoting for that backdrop, or you know what I mean, like like it's not just a pretty background. Like you also have to build a story just from one snapshot. So, and
you can plan all you want in your head, but as soon as that model is in front of you and you start going with the flow, or even if a song, for me, if like a certain song is playing on like a playlist, my mood will change. I'll just be like, oh, we're gonna go this way. And
totally.
I kind of, it's something I'm a little self-conscious about. I'm like, no, like I have a vision and I want to actually make it happen and stick to it. But at the same time, if it turns out a little bit different, that's the beauty of it too. It's like you started with this idea, it evolved into this because of how everything just was. But then there's a part of me too that's like, but you didn't do what you originally wanted, and you should still do it. Like I feel a little bit unfulfilled in a way.
Right. I feel that.
It's like an addiction sometimes where you have an idea, and you just want to get it out there. And if it's not exactly how you wanted it to be, that's cool too. But there's something, it's like not being able to scratch an itch that you have,
Yeah.
Art life. Yeah.
I know. It's always, you have this big idea in your head, and like it could be the lighting is just completely off.
Yeah.
Your settings, you just don't have a strong enough lens for it.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Not to mention photography is like so expensive.
It is. It really is, though. I mean, I think like it's important to use a small set of equipment and get really good at it.
Right.
Though.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I do envy those photographers out there, and there's a lot here in Austin that are like huge equipment buffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, I have this and I have this, and like,
but
I worked with a photographer.
I'm just kidding.
You're just like, dang it, like give me that, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like just a different way of thinking too. But I have met like photographers who do have that equipment, and it's great, and they find their niche, and but they invest in the big stuff, and then they run with it and get really good at it. And I think that's the key, is just having equipment for a long set of time. So I'm sure it's worth the investment. I'm just not quite there yet. Like I would love strobe lights. I've seen strobe lights that you can change the settings with like a little tablet thing.
That's cool.
And so if you wanted your strobe super, super high, instead of having to, let me change the settings and like bring it down and switch the setting, try it. Instead, you just like do it on this tablet, and it changes the setting. You take the photo, and if it's not right, you just change it on the tablet, you know?
That's crazy. Man.
Like, that's amazing. I want it.
How much are those usually running?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably should research it and make goals and manifest and stuff.
See, I think for me, I would rather get a better lens though, just because you could manipulate light and color in post. I mean,
getting a new lens is like getting a new love for photography every time.
Yes.
I fall in love with it all over again when I'm looking at it through a different lens. I'm like, oh yeah,
that's like a metaphor.
And I like that. Yeah, it's gonna be in a book one day. But yeah, being a lady photographer.
What's that like?
It is, it's fun. And I feel like being a lady photographer in Austin is nice because there's a lot of us out there, and there's a lot of inspiration, and I feel like there's a lot of support, you know? I mean, look at us.
Yes.
There's a lot of social media love and support and like commenting, and to me that is like, that's what we thrive on. That's what I've thrived on too. I feel like that's my main market, is getting just photos posted and out there and being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And to me, it's important to constantly do it. And I think it's almost become like a compulsive thing, where if I don't shoot for even like sometimes a week, I start to get like, okay, I will photograph myself.
Yeah.
Like, I will just set something up in my studio and work something out. And that's not ideal to me.
Right.
Because it's so frustrating, because I don't have the automatic light changer and all this and that. You know, I have a way to shoot remote from my phone, from my camera. My camera has like a Bluetooth thing. It's a Nikon D750. So it's got like Bluetooth capability, and you just download an app on your phone and then connect to like the Wi-Fi of your phone. So you can see yourself and shoot from there. And you can change settings, but the connection with it is normally pretty wonky. It's pretty delayed and slow. So sometimes you could be hitting the shutter 5 or 6 times and nothing will happen until like 3 or 4 seconds later. So if you're trying to pose, you're like, oh wait, I have to put my phone away, and then what was I doing? You know, like it's hard to direct yourself that way, but you know,
it's good.
Sometimes
practice,
it's
though.
just the act of doing it.
Yes.
And practicing and being like, ooh, let me just fiddle with the lights. And even if it doesn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, I think just the act of setting my lights up and moving them around and getting experimental and listening to music and, you know, just doing that is therapeutic in a way.
Yep.
So,
Do you prefer indoor or outdoor shoots?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because I feel like it's fun for me to experiment more with lighting indoors. And now that I have like this setup in my garage where I can shoot there and have more control, whereas before I was like shooting out of my living room and just was like very limited to what I can do. Still a little limited, but just it's my own space, right? You know. But outdoor is so fun if you find the right time of day.
Yes,
because sometimes if I have to shoot at noon or an awkward time, I feel I don't know, I just feel so much pressure about controlling the light a little bit better, and it never turns out the way that I really want it to. Like it can turn out okay, decent, gets the job done, but I'm always like beating myself up, and I'm like, dude, it would have been so worth it to just like wait or reschedule on a day that the lighting would have been better like later on in the day. But when you're working with clients, that's not always the case, and you have to take what you can get and manage it, you know? So, but I always feel like I'm hardest on myself for outdoor shoots if it's not the right time. 'Cause I like always think of 1,000 things I could have done.
Right. Too many variables.
I know. I'm mean to myself sometimes, man. I get really hard on myself, and I think we all do that as artists.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm also excited and proud of where I've been lately, and I'm like, I actually have shot things recently that I'm like, dude, I like this. Like, I want a print of this myself, you know? And that's like really rare.
Right.
That's never happened for me, and I feel like I'm at a point right now where I'm like, I've just been really attracted to colors, specific colors, like certain palettes, monochromatic stuff, which isn't new. You know, there's stuff out there already that does that. But I just feel like for me to do it, it just feels good.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like it. So.
I'm just excited that you're doing it full time. Like,
thanks, dude. Yeah. Thank you. It's a scary thing, but I do encourage, you know, anybody out there who, you know, feels that hunger and just feels like, you know what, I can do it. And especially having like support from other people has always been really nice too. And I've luckily had that. But go with your gut and, you know, just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, definitely have a plan B. Because this field is so cutthroat and it's so up and down, and there's a lot of competition also here in Austin. There's plenty of other photographers out there all the time. So I think the important thing is to not get discouraged. It's really easy to look at other photographers all the time, which I feel like I do. I do look at other people's work a lot, like on Instagram, and get inspiration, and just I like to make myself aware of what's around and what's out there. Yeah. But it's also easy to look at that and be like, oh, I suck.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Like, some people's work, it's just so amazing out there. There's so many talented people. And sometimes, just depending on your mood, too, instead of it inspiring you, it kills you. And you're like, man, what if, or I wish, and that's just not good. That's when you need to put the phone down. You know?
Yeah. Definitely. It's so easy to compare. Try not to, though.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own style, and you can only devote so much time to, like, practicing. So, like, I mean, there are some really naturally gifted people, though. Like,
yes. I mean,
when I watch
people now, like 17, 16-year-old kids out there now are blowing my mind. Like, they are so good. My sister, she's a teacher for high schoolers. She teaches film and broadcast. And her students are so talented. It's insane what they have done and what they can create in film, like movies, little short films that are so thoughtful and so cinematic and well done. I'm just like,
What do they use to film? Like what?
They use DSLR cameras.
And what grade is this?
High school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So high school age, all across the board, freshman through senior.
Cool.
But they're awesome. They're awesome at what they do, and some of them have taken up photography. And I keep up with their work and everything too. And every day I'm just like, oh.
Aww.
And a lot of kids are shooting film now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's like coming back.
Do they just develop themselves? I would assume.
There's.
I think we need to evacuate. So thanks for watching. I'm just kidding.
I'm like, yeah.
Someone's cooking something. All right.
There we go.
But your students, or her students.
Yeah. So, I mean, so they've kind of inspired me to shoot more films. So actually, my boyfriend gifted me with a Canon AE1 program.
I had one.
A 35mm camera. Yeah. And they're kind of everywhere now too. Like online, if you look them up, and they're normally in great condition. They're not super old, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of places still make film and develop them. So
Really?
I know here I go to Holland Photo, and they develop pretty quickly. It's pretty decent. I mean, they develop it, and they also give you the option to print and scan.
Cool.
I eventually though would like to make a dark room in my house, like just for a roll. Like, get all the stuff and try it out. Yeah.
I want to take photos of you in the dark room. You know, those like candid, like.
Fun. Just like recreate something. But yeah, so I've enjoyed it. I've been shooting a lot of film lately. And that's been nice too. That's been really helpful to my shooting. Mm-hmm. It's made me definitely more conscious, and more preservative too, especially being a full-time freelancer. You know, funds are tight, so I don't have money to develop all the time. So I'm like, oh man, I need to hold on to this roll, you know, and make sure it's a good shot before I go and take it and spend money to develop it.
Right.
So I think that's a good thing too.
Yeah.
I'm a very spontaneous person that just is like, yeah, sure, let's go. Let's jump off this cliff. Great. So having something that kind of disciplines me more and gives me, you know, teaches me more patience with things, you know, because I could be really excited about a role, but I have to wait maybe a week to get it back. Yeah. Before I'm able to like share it or post it or something, you know.
Do you edit more? Like when you, or do you go
I still do. I feel like when I see the world, there are great ways to adjust your camera, to adjust color and the way that it's viewed. But to me, I just feel like I see things very vibrant. So even with the film scans, I do tend to pump up the color just a smidge. Unless I feel like it's already there. I think I've had a couple that I've posted that I've been like, it's good. It's good. But yeah, I always will pump up just whatever color is kind of dominating. If it's mainly blue, I'll do that. Or maybe the contrasting color.
Right.
I love blue and gold, or blue and orange contrasts. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, the safe word, the name, and you're like, remind me to tell.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I remember though. Good job remembering.
Thank you.
So we were talking earlier about lady photographers and just aesthetics and things that we're inspired by, and I was like, remind me of this for the podcast. Like, we'll save this. So Alex Prager is a photographer who is out there. She's modern. She's alive and well. But Alex Prager does a lot of work that's like, whoa. It's very cinematic. I watched a little like mini documentary or like interview with her, and super down to earth. I think she's like maybe 31.
Oh, wow.
20,
Okay.
Late 20s, early 30s. And she lives in California, and she was talking about how she just had all these crazy odd jobs, like she worked at a car wash, and she worked at like a hot dog stand, and like all these different jobs, and just was like, I need to do something with my life. And her direction went to photography, and she ended up like starting to collect just like different clothing, and all of her clothing is very like color based, and a lot of it is vintage and like 60s 70s looking. But she made a good point. She was just like, yeah, I don't really make it a point to go for that era, but it's just colorful.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I agree. You know, I'm always attracted to those types of images because it's just a colorful time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just was, you know? And I guess like the patterns and the type of clothing was just so much more textured, and just the clothing was different, even in the way that it was made. So she has a lot of that. She has like a collection of wigs, kind of like you do over here. A collection of wigs and like eyelashes. So she styles her shoots, and she creates these scenes, and they look like a still out of a movie.
Ooh, like an old movie.
Yeah, like she did actually recreate an Alfred Hitchcock, like The Birds type scene. Yeah, so
I'd have to check it out.
Check her out. It's incredible.
What
I could
was her
stare
name
at
again?
her work all day. And what was that?
What was the name again?
Alex Prager.
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 Okay.
Yeah,
I'm really bad.
she's
at names.
great. That's kind of been like my big
Share
influence and
yeah.
inspiration lately, just because I think just hearing her backstory too, where she was just like, I
Yeah.
just needed direction, and she found her niche. And I feel like I've been shooting for a while now, but I'm all over the place, or I have been. Like, I look at my portfolio and I feel like it's all over the place, which is good to a point, but it's not focused at all. I don't know. That's just what I feel.
Yeah.
So lately I've been like, well, what can I focus on? And one thing that's always been consistent is color. I just love color. I love looking at a series as a whole. Like, you know, if I download images of my shoot on my phone, like when you look at it and it's like in grid view, is there a gradient happening, or is it like, I kind of look at it from afar, like as a whole, and I'm like, if it all is very like cohesive, then it's a good shoot to me, like color wise.
That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I kind of want to focus on that more, and maybe do more prints that way too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I want to do art prints.
Yeah,
I
you
wanna
should
do that. So I have a print shop. I have a print shop up right now, but it's so in the works, and I'm still getting the hang of things.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So
You should do
color.
prints for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's hard too because I don't like framing stuff.
Yeah, and the dimensions are rarely ever right.
I know.
It's like,
And you have to find the right frame.
yes.
The right frame can really
Exactly.
add to a piece. Like, I learned that over Christmas. My friend works at Mind's Eye. And so she comes across all this art and does, like, she does such a great job with, like, pairing artwork with frames. And so for Christmas, I got a couple, like, really cool prints as a gift. And the frames that she got for these pieces were, like, perfect. Like, the way that the theme was with the color.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but it looked awesome. And I was just like, oh, it's so thoughtful. Like, I love that. Yeah, I'm not hard to please. I love it.
No, it makes complete
It's
sense.
great. I was like, there was so much thought put into this
Yeah.
little print, you know, and the frame was just, it was perfect. I feel like I'm not good at that.
Really?
I don't know.
Have you ever tried it though?
I mean, every time I try to go and frame shop, because I will go to Goodwill, and I'll grab like a bunch, but I'm just like, this doesn't look like I can easily open it, or like if I open it, it'll break, or I'm just kind of like, what do I do? You know, and I end up like carrying it around the store the whole time, and then last minute just being like,
Yeah.
So, maybe I just need to go with somebody. I need an adult. I need an adult to frame shop with.
Or you're just not finding the perfect frame, you know, you just don't want to settle for it.
Like, I don't want to just get a frame and then have it sit there, because I have done that too.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm like, I'll find something for it, or I'll shoot something for it.
Yeah.
Never happens. I never am like, oh yeah, I need to make a whole series based on this frame that I found. Like, never does that cross my mind. But
yeah. Shout out to frames. I don't know.
That just made me think of, have you heard of like the Hobby Lobby challenge?
Oh, with the flowers?
Yeah.
I haven't done that, but I've seen a lot of people do it.
I would like to try it.
Yeah?
But I'm also kind of like, I have mad respect for street photographers because they photograph people in just normal situations. If I take my camera in a public place and just start shooting photos, I get really self-conscious of people getting mad.
Yeah, like you're invading their privacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like Hobby Lobby, I guess I would still do it, but I'm just like, there's always that thing in the back of your head that's like, is somebody gonna come up and like not be happy about that?
Yeah.
And I want to be respectful. I like Hobby Lobby. So. But there's always that, and I think that's what deters me from actually going out and being like, hey, let's go.
Right.
Plus, who would want to do that with me? Should I like, how do I do that? Be like, does anybody want to do a shoot at Hobby Lobby with me?
I would do it with you.
Let's do it. I mean,
yeah,
that would be a fun challenge and a fun
would.
experiment. I think
We
for us
just-
both. You know?
If we're just fast about it,
Absolutely. Just gauge the light real quick.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right model for you though.
Yes, you are.
Because I only look good in certain angles, so it's like if we gotta be on a time crunch.
But I got you. See, that's the challenge though too. If you're like, okay, I like only these.
We should
angles.
dude. Have you been watching? Well, I watch YouTube, but like Bird Box challenges.
No,
where you do shit blindfolded. That would be a lot of fun.
Wow, can you? That would be such a shit show to be like in Hobby Lobby. Like, is that your face? Okay, I don't know where you are or what my settings are, but I'm gonna photograph you. What if it turns out like amazing though? You're like with a blindfold and flowers, and it's all epic.
That would be so funny.
Oh, well, now we have to. Now we have to follow up.
Have you watched Bird Box though?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it too, and I was like, yes, Sandra Bullock, come back. At the same time, though, I was all sketched out because I'm like, dude, marketing is crazy nowadays because that's really why it blew up.
That's exactly why. Yeah.
One person was like a
memes.
marketing person that was like, I'm going to start a few things here and there and maybe like boost it or somehow made it go viral, and then it just went like wildfire. Then they didn't have to spend any money on marketing at all. They were just like, fly little bird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it was like I was being brainwashed into watching it.
I mean, I saw so much about it like in one day. All of a sudden, like it was just like boom.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's a trend going on with like your first profile picture versus your profile picture now. So like 10 years ago versus now. And I'm like, this isn't the first time this has been shared, you know? Like I actually participated in something like that, like maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. I just like saw it and was like, I'm gonna do it. So I posted an old picture of myself and a new picture of myself. That was it. But now it's like, I hopped on Facebook today and like every single person did that. And I was like, that's so crazy how things trend or how. And you know what's weird is I had a moment too where I was like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and post that. And I was like, no, wait, you already did that. Like not that long ago. It just wasn't popular. Like nobody else was like, it didn't get viral, I guess.
Right. Isn't it crazy?
So weird. But it is weird that for a second I was like, I'm going to do it. Like, no, I don't. Nobody gives a shit, really. Like everybody's just doing it to just.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me
weird.
of that ALS bucket challenge.
Yes, that was crazy.
Yeah,
that was
like one of the first. Well, not first, but you know the earlier
first big
days.
ones that went on like everyone.
Yeah, what was that one where they were like, they're like dancing? What? What is it called? The Harlem Shake? Not Harlem.
Yes, the Harlem Shake.
Was it?
Right?
Was it the Harlem Shake? Because the dance is a Harlem Shake, but was it also the video challenge?
Yeah, where everybody did a video where they would like progressively just get crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm so old. Sometimes I feel so old.
Well, doesn't that seem like forever ago?
Yeah.
Like that just seems like
I know. Like, okay, you know what went viral for us? I would think our generation is like dances.
Yes.
Like Tootsie Roll or like, and it was from music videos.
And there were names to it. Everybody would be like, do that, or do the Cupid Shuffle, or do the
butterfly,
butterfly.
electric slide.
What's the not jaywalk.
I don't know.
That one dance. I don't know.
Shuffle?
The chicken dance.
Chicken? I don't know. I don't know any of the dances. I didn't even know that this was called Fortnite.
Oh, the floss?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is it from Fortnite?
I think so.
I don't know. I probably sound like such an idiot right now.
But things go viral. It's weird. It's just funny what catches on and why and when. Like, who starts it?
Yeah.
Why does it take flight? Because there's a lot of things out there every day that are posted that could easily be shared or reshared, or people could take flight into it. So it's like, it's just funny when a specific number of people that you see throughout your day doing that, you all of a sudden have this like, I mean, maybe not everybody, but I felt like I did today with the old picture and the new picture. I saw it so much that I was like, I should do that. That looks fun. And I was like, no, get off of Facebook, first of all. Like, if you just start to ever feel like that, like, just get off.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm rarely on Facebook anymore.
That's always a good, I don't know. Social media keeps my business alive.
Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship. I really do, there's times where, like, last time I went, like, camping at Big Bend, there was no service there. And so I didn't have internet or phone or anything for it was a weekend. It was not super long. But I felt like so happy and relieved. It was just like a weight off my shoulders. And then when I got back, I was like, okay, yeah, it feels good to be connected though still.
Yeah.
To have that to come back to. But I don't know. It's like a chore or it's like a task sometimes, having to be like, I got to put a post out, or I got to create an ad, or I don't know. I don't want to come off ever as trying too hard or like fake. It really is almost like a compulsive thing where I'm like, I have to shoot something and I have to share it because it's fun and I love it. And I just want I want to create something new, and I obviously don't want to share it if I did it, so.
What are your long-term goals with it?
I would love to have a studio one day. That's my ultimate goal. I would love to have a studio. I don't know if it'll be here in Austin, just because of how expensive everything is here.
You mean like separate from your home studio? Okay. Yeah. Like so you can have gallery nights.
I would like an office. Like I would like to leave my house and go to work, and that work be owned by me. Yeah. So, that's the big one. So I just feel like that's maybe like I don't know, like a 2 to 5 year plan.
You can do it.
Thanks.
I mean, you really have to like push it, and that's why it's good that you're doing it full time. Because
I gotta be hungry.
You can't go half-ass. Yeah,
exactly. And it takes a lot of time to do things like that. And now I'm going to want to hash out like a business plan. I wrote one like in college, and there were a couple things that I didn't finish, and they were all like money and numbers related, because I just am like,
mine would look so stupid. It would be written in crayon, like $sign and like a ladder. This is me climbing up.
Like, and here's where the wigs will go, and like it'll all be decorative stuff. Like, here's where the studio will be and what the decorations will be. But who knows how much rent is or how much money all my equipment is worth. Like,
oh man.
But it's crazy. Like, you know, it definitely gets you out of your comfort zone in being like, okay, yeah, I do have to look at the numbers. I do have to get serious and like budget things or even charge more, you know? Like, that's a thing that's been a struggle for me. But now that I'm full-time, it's easier for me to be like, okay, yeah, no, this is it. I'm not afraid to ask for more or to be like, okay, you only get this many photos in this special. If you want more, they're available for purchase. Like, that's an additional purchase. Yeah. I feel like that's important to have too. But it's still hard for me to get acclimated to because I'm just so excited. And I love all of my shoots, and I really do get passionate and real with my people. And I feel like I build these close relationships that after the shoot, I'm like, you can have them all. Like, it was fun, you know. But now I'm starting to get better at being like, okay, here's, you know, I'll let you choose your top 3 that you get in your package, you know. But if you would like to download more, you know, they're available for purchase here. So it's still kind of hard for me, I feel like. Yeah. To do that.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, if people want it, they can get it too. They don't have to. Like, it's never a pressure thing. It's like, if you would like that photo. Yeah.
Who do you print through?
So I do my proofing through Pixieset. And so Pixieset is great. I only pay like $10 a month. Okay. And you're able to have like a gallery for your customer and then a store, and you can pick through different labs to go through. So they have Miller's Lab available.
I printed through them, I think.
Miller's is great. Yeah, they have great quality stuff. There's also I'm totally blanking on the other ones. Miller's just pops out, but I actually don't use Miller's. I use another one. Something Lab. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. I'm so terrible. Okay. It's a secret. It's a secret.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Maybe I'll reveal it later. Yeah. But they do great stuff. They do like metal prints and things like that. But Pixieset's great because your customers, you set your prices and it tells you how much this actually costs, what your wholesale cost is, and then how much you want to charge your customer. So in the middle, it's like, okay, if you make your item $8 and it's only costing you $2, then it like tabs it up in the middle, like what you're paying the studio, but what you're making out of it. So
that's
and then
neat.
you pay at the end of the month what you owe.
Oh wow!
And it just takes it out of like your PayPal normally, and people pay for those products through your PayPal, so it's all just like interchangeable. In your PayPal. So cool. It makes it super easy, which is great because I suck with numbers sometimes, and I'm like, whatever's easiest, you know, just do all that, and it helps you not have to keep track so much of like, okay, was it sent? Was it taken care of? Am I paying my bill? It all is automatic. So
that's cool. I didn't know anything like that existed. It's like your account manager kind
Absolutely,
of.
And it's affordable too. So I know that $10 only gets me a certain amount of storage. So sometimes after a shoot is like maybe a year old, I'll take it down. You know, like please download your stuff or you know. But it's a lot, dude. Being a photographer is a lot. You have to do marketing. You have to be a creative director. You have to be your own assistant or like bookkeeper. Everything. Think of ads. Think of and ways to keep yourself motivated all at the same time, and just be like, this is my art. This is what I want to do. So,
do you prefer doing model photography, or do you ever?
I love people.
Yeah,
I do. I really do, and I just feel like I have an appreciation for landscape and things like that. But I feel like maybe I'll do more of that with film. Just for funsies. But people, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just what I'm into.
It's weird because it's. I always say, like, in general, I do hate people, but it's kind of like I hate men, but not all men type.
People can suck. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Right.
But you have your moments where you're just like, oh.
Right. but I'm also still a humanitarian, and I still, like, you know,
have a big heart.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
absolutely.
once I really get to know someone, or I don't know, I'll immediately think someone's, well, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt first, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. And, you know, sometimes I think it's better to be that way and then maybe, like, have an eye-opener and let things happen and be like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to get burned or whatever, than to be a closed-minded or closed-hearted person. I'm very open-armed and, like, here I am. I feel like I'm pretty transparent, you know.
I think photographers, or, like, you know, any kind of artist that really captures human emotion, tend to really know how to read people well.
Definitely.
And there are some photographers that I'm like, I don't feel anything from her. Like, you're still not, I don't know. Like, everything is perfect. The scene, the lighting, the colors. But, like, if the model's not expressing something, I can't feel it. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another part of our job, too, is sometimes you have to, like, figure out ways to bring that out. And that is a whole thing in itself where sometimes I struggle, depending on what mood I'm in. Like, sometimes I will struggle a little bit. I do feel like I always make an effort to be like, okay, let's give you some direction, or let's try something.
Do you direct a lot? Oh, well, we work together. You didn't really direct too much.
You had it. You were like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, okay, all right. And that's what happens sometimes with like, you know, people like you who know your light and you work your light, and that's all it is just working the light. And also, you know, to change yourself up at every shutter, you know. Yeah. Some people in front of a camera, and I feel like I'm this way too in front of a camera. I really do need like an action. Give me an action to do.
Right.
Or a prop, look over this way, or take 2 steps this way and then come back, or you know, just like a series of motion or movement. And doing that, I feel like you're able to catch more candid stuff. So if I feel like my model's a little bit stiff. And sometimes models are uncomfortable. You'll be like, walk in a circle and do this. And they look at you like, what? And I'm like, I know. Like, trust me, I know. But, like, I'm very, I'm not stingy with showing the back of the camera. I will always show the entire process and being like, okay, see, you walking around in a circle. Like, it felt silly, but it wasn't. Like, it turned out okay, and they'll see it, and they'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I think that's kind of, like, something that earns trust throughout the shoot, too. But it's hard. It's hard to be in front of a camera. I totally get that. And, like, everyone's their own worst critic, and when they see pictures of themselves, sometimes, you know, they're not happy, and that's not what I want. I want you to see a photo of yourself and be like, whoa. Yeah. I had no idea I could look like that. You know? Yeah.
I love the reaction with some women. They're like,
oh, women. I love women the most. Absolutely.
Like, they never saw themselves in that type of light or perspective.
We have an empowering job.
That we
Photography can save the world, man.
Heal the world. Make it a better place. Okay, that was
I know. Drum cue. And montage. It's like running in slow motion.
So, as a woman, have you experienced being mansplained? Mansplained? Yeah. I was like, that wasn't an edit, by the way. I'm like, man.
What do you mean?
Like, whether it be in social media, but I've actually, like, been to an event where, I don't know, because I'm a woman. Like, they're just like, oh, you're doing that wrong, or, you know, just, like, unsolicited, you know, advice type thing. Or, or, like, rushing me off because, like, I've done an event where you're sharing each other's lighting and stuff, so you have, like, different corners, and, like, one rushed me off, like, dude, it's not even your shit.
I'm trying to think of, like, something like that's happened. I think, I don't know, I've shot, like, a few events, like, shows and stuff where there's been me and, like, say another male photographer, and I don't know, I feel like normally I'll introduce myself and just be like, hey, I'm Nikki, I'm the other photographer. But I don't know, as far as being, like, I don't want to like mention or like talk smack about.
Oh no, we don't have to. I was just like,
no, I'm just saying I did have an instance though where like I've gone into a camera store. I'll just say a camera store.
Yeah.
And I've gone in there with like legitimate questions, and I feel like because I was like in sweats and stuff too, so but the person helping me was like, "Oh, are you just so you do this for fun? You're a hobbyist?" And like that's how he said it, and I was just like, what makes you think that in any way? Like, what have I said? And all I did was ask him about a lens and if they had it and how much it was and what like maybe a payment plan was, or just getting general info on what something like that would be. And I also he put the lens on a camera so I can try it out. Pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form was I like, huh? What?
Right.
Like, I was very, like, I went there for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I was messing with it, and he was trying to, I guess, make conversation, but it just came off really rude and was very, like, demeaning.
Yeah.
And he made me feel kind of dumb, you know? Like, just, the whole exchange was just really awkward. But that's how it started, was just like, oh, you're a hobbyist. And then I went on to tell him, like, oh, I've been shooting for this long. But I didn't feel comfortable enough to divulge too much about myself either. I was just like, look, I'm here to just like look at this lens. I'm just
ugh, that's so annoying.
It was frustrating.
It is
I was
frustrating.
Like, seriously. So it made me not want to go back, and I'm like, see, this is why I like shop online for a lot of my stuff. But I think I benefit from holding it in my hands, and it's like, can't you just see that? Like, that's the thing with photographers sometimes, or I guess in any art form. You have people who are going to be like, oh, I've done this longer. I know better.
Yes.
Or I know more than you.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, hey, you're a photographer. I'm a photographer. We both love the same thing. I have a lot to teach you. Like, I work here. Let me teach you something. Or if you have questions, or who knows, maybe you can learn from them. Just because you work at a camera store doesn't mean that your customers necessarily know less than you, you know, in that field. So I just feel like, and maybe it's because I've worked retail too, where I'm like, find a common denominator with your people that you work with, you know, and that makes it so much more of a fun experience than I work retail, or it's customer service. Find a common ground.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a photographer and work at a camera store.
Yeah.
It's your passion.
Yeah.
Talk shop with people, you know?
Like, hey, so what are you shooting with? Like, what do you plan on using this for?
Right.
Like, my kid's graduation.
Right. Then be like, oh, okay, she's a hobbyist. Like, take it from there. Like,
I am a proud GWC, okay? Which I think also gets negative, I don't know, meaning to that term.
Yeah.
Right? Guy or girl with camera.
Yeah.
Like, is it just someone who doesn't do it professionally?
I don't know.
Or is there like a negative connotation, like, oh, this is just for his spank bank? You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it just depends on what you do with it. You know, if you make like art pieces out of it, or you know, like correlating shoots and styling them and putting work into it, not just like, I don't know. See, it's hard for me to judge and say that and be like, what's the difference here? Because if you have a passion for it, and that's what makes you happy, and you do it because you love it, I don't care. To me, I don't judge if it's just a hobby or if it's professional. If you love to do it, then you do it.
Exactly.
So it's hard for me to make that judgment call and to just be like, what's professional and what's...
And professional simply is just someone who is doing it for
income.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's the only difference. It's the same art. It's just, what's your purpose, your intent behind it?
Yes.
Business or pleasure.
Are you making it into a business? Are you being
right? And that's the thing too, is like sometimes people don't understand the difference, and if you did a shoot for free, you can't also expect the type of service that you would a paid one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, you know, not getting enough photos edited, like, you know, I don't want to turn this to a bitch fest. But, you know,
it's easy
like,
to, though. There are so many things that could
So what else do we hate about photography?
I know. But that's the thing. It feels good to vent about these things.
Yeah.
Because we're not the only ones who go through it.
Yeah.
Everybody comes across these challenges, and that's what's good to talk about, because sometimes you go through these challenges and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I
or
hate
like
it.
if you've been flaked on for, consecutively, it's like, no one wants to work with me.
Every bad thing that happens is a lesson.
Absolutely.
But it's hard to remember that. I know. We're all human. We all forget. But that's what this podcast is for. To remind you
that you can die from a fatal overdose.
Yes. I'm just kidding. That every artist has those dry spells too. Like, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
To
take breaks once in a while.
Take breaks. To give yourself a rest. Don't push yourself. And I know sometimes those writer's block or those blank spots in creativity happen like when you're really needing to pump it up. The brain does terrible things to you sometimes. It's like, nope.
Yeah.
Not going to work for you. Sorry. I know you have things due and you have clients and you have things that you need to do, but you're just going to shut down. But you just got to push through and talk to other people and bitch about it so you can get it off your chest.
Even like the people that you worship their work. And they're just like, they seem like they have it all together.
Yeah.
They've been through it too.
Absolutely. Yep. Everybody. It's just about not letting it overcome you completely.
Yeah.
To where you completely shut down. So just take a break, step away, smoke some weed, and start over, or take a week off, whatever.
Yeah.
Go hiking,
and you don't even have to announce a break. Like,
no.
Yeah.
No.
Just
do it. Unannounced.
Just you quietly back out of the room.
And whatever makes you happy too. If that means not, because sometimes I have resented my camera and have been like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to shoot for a while.
Yeah.
And I went through that last year. I went through like a dry spell where I was and it was my job too at the time. I just didn't want to work with people. I didn't want to have people even for photography. And that to me was a big sign of like, okay, if I don't even want to shoot and photograph people, what am I going to do? Because I love to shoot and I don't know what else to shoot. You know, it's just like, I thought about like doing miniatures or something. And I was like, maybe when I'm like 60 and don't have like,
Wait, miniature like modeling?
Like building little tiny sets that look surreal.
Oh yeah,
something.
Okay.
Kind of like what we were talking about with the pomegranate.
Yeah, okay. So basically like Lego World, but
well, just like, so there was a time this was like for a class. I made like a mountain scene out of purple sheets. And the way that I lit it, it looked like the sun, the sheets made crevices to where the way that it was lit, it looked like mountains. And I made it look like a scene. But it was made out of blanket sheets and like a little painted sky background that I made.
Okay. I thought it was like, oh no, miniature. Okay. Or
I know, I said miniature, but I was like, I mean,
miniature. Well, no, I was listening to another podcast and they were like debating on the proper way to say it. And everyone says miniature, but she said miniature. So now I've been like trying it out.
British accent? I feel like that would be.
No, but she, it's Christina P. with Tom Segura. Yeah, she's. Her parents are from Hungary. Yeah. They're Hungarian, so I don't know. She's always said it miniature. So
okay, I know.
I wanted to see if it would roll off my tongue.
Right. How will it come out? Caramel or caramel?
I actually say both. It depends.
It depends on.
Yeah.
I say caramel.
Caramel apple. Caramel apple.
But caramel frappuccino.
Yes. Yes.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Yep. I get it. Words, man. Yeah. Words. But yeah. Our life as photographers is pretty interesting. I don't know. I feel like I could go on forever about it. You know? And it's been good to like sit here and talk shop and
I know
and do this. So
thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on this. I love what you've done with this place. This looks great.
Thank you.
For letting me go barefoot with you.
I know.
It's great. It's pretty chill.
Well, why don't you tell everyone where we can find you, book you?
Yes. So I am Magnetic Focus Photography. My Instagram is Magnetic Focus Photography. Or you can hit up my website, which I've been working on a lot, so please check it out. I do have like a little email thing that you can subscribe to that pops up. I'm trying to make that as easy as possible. It kind of took like 5 hours to do. Jeez. I'm not a web designer. I need help. So it's just magneticfocusphoto.com. I'm also on Facebook. You can also just find me, Nikki Acosta, as well. But everything's all pretty intermingled. I feel like a lot of social media for me is for photography. So good. Everything is pretty updated right now.
Cool.
So yeah, hopefully I keep that up. We'll see. But yeah, booking sessions all the time. I'm pretty open, but I think one thing that you may notice is color, and I love color. So
Awesome.
check it out.
Yes, please. She's amazing. I've been following you for quite some time now, I feel.
You too, yeah.
So
Can I have a book
there's
come
just,
out?
you know, when you have like 4 people that you follow.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
Every day.
And I love your work with color too, and like
Thank
the
you.
fantasy and like the artsiness, and I love how trippy your art gets too.
Oh, thanks.
I love and appreciate that too. And I just think the art of editing is something that you know is it's a skill, man, and it's hard and it's tedious and it takes time, and yeah, it's all about knowing your programs too. So.
Yep, and having a fast enough computer, damn it.
Oh God, I know. If only, it just sucks that we're so reliant on technology for our trade, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's with the times.
It is. Modern ladies.
Modern ladies.
Modern women.
And to that,
Yay,
let's
well,
drink to that.
cheers.
Cheers.
You can reach us at fatalpodcastatx@gmail.com or Instagram Fatal Appeal.